What is up, honey? It is KingBritneyChanel, and I am back with yet another video. So I know some of y'all been like, hey B, can you talk about CK's response that she ain't got the 4K? And I'm gonna have to say that for another video, y'all, because y'all know I'm waiting to see, because you know other things have to unfold with the Cardi and TK situation. So we just waiting on that other stuff to unfold, y'all. So we'll get to that. But in today's video, you guys, I'm going to be discussing a video snippet or like a soundbite that I heard from the Roommates podcast. And basically, he got to interview a man by the name of Dr. Peterson, the podcaster who, you know, is on the Roommates podcast. He got to interview a man named Dr. Peterson. And Dr. Peterson, y'all, like, OMG. The things that he was saying in the podcast really kind of was like, yes, this is what I've been saying about the Manosphere. And you guys know I've had run-ins with some people from the Manosphere, and the doctrine from that Manosphere is just something, honey, something else. And don't get it twisted, because there's women on the opposite side too, and they little spears of stuff that be, you know, off they self. But in this particular video, y'all, I'm gonna be discussing, you know, what Dr. Peterson is saying from the soundbite from the Roommates podcast, y'all. And because it makes a lot of sense. Like, I think a lot of people, man and woman, when it comes to accountability, they don't want to do the self-work. And so this man is really driving holding yourself accountable and accountability. He bringing it home. So I'm gonna discuss some of the little things that he's saying in here, because what he said was very powerful. And this is coming from a man. So it's not like a bunch of women are saying this. This is a man telling other groups of men, it's time to level yourself up, okay? So let's hear what he had to say. Let me make sure this volume is turned up, honey.
The female empowerment, where a lot of women have this is what they say, an elevated sense of self, that now they feel like they're...
I'm gonna say this just before he goes in. There are some women that are delusional where they not at a place, but then to counter that, there are a whole bunch of sisters and folks that I know that they have done the work to get a bunch of accomplishments and things going to set their lives up in a certain way. So Dr. Peterson is about to even, you know, get into that, because the man, he's coming up with the classical Manosphere answers for a lot of this stuff. Like, you should the Manosphere, what I take from them, you should lower your standards and expectations because A, B, and C. You get what I'm saying? They have the same stereotypical thing. Like, I'm gonna call these women average because, you know, I want to stay at my level of mediocrity.
Above a lot of these average men, which also contributes to a disparity between young adults being able to connect and form meaningful relationships.
Yeah, well, women are more picky in their mate choices than men, especially sexually. That's the case in every animal, culture. Any female. And it's not surprising, because women have more at stake sexually than men do.
Exactly. So knowing that fact, because there's even animals that they will not mate with a weak male. If they even sense that, they body just... And I'm not sure if it's the hyena that's that particular animal, or it's a lot of animals, especially when it comes to felines, that if they sense weakness, they will not mate with that male. It's a whole bunch of animals that think like that, right? So women kind of do the same thing. Like, they look for somebody to bring a sense of providership, a sense of safety. And I don't care what nobody say. All women do that, okay? Whether you call them a gold digger or you a woman that really probably don't even want much. They want that sense of security and providership, okay? And all of that falls under providership, because providership is not just monetary. It's protection, providership, just it encompasses a lot of things, okay? Like, are you dealing with me to keep me well? Okay, are you focused on, building a tribe so we could build generational wealth? All kind of stuff encompasses providership in my definition. I don't know about other people, but my definition of that, okay? So he's talking about that. You're mad, and a lot of these men on these Manosphere channels, so I'm gonna tell you some of the crazy stuff they say. If a woman automatically has kids, it takes a couple of points off. Therefore, she shouldn't be trying to not, abstain and save herself. No, she should be giving up the goodies because she already got kids. And that to me is like, no, that's practicing, to me, irresponsibility. Because, okay, let's say you did have a relationship that didn't work out, right? You gonna now, you maybe the woman was young, maybe she ain't have that providership that she should have had, because a lot of melanated women come from these single parent households where that protection, where the man is supposed to be screening what type of husband his daughter is supposed to be getting, is not there. So therefore you have all of this stuff. And I already told y'all, if the head out of order, the body gonna be out of order. Y'all know I'm gonna bring it all the way home with saying that. And if a man is not telling you that, he got some problems. He has leadership and accountability problems. Women, is not their job to fix a community and to lead a community. It is not. It is not. And the state of the melanated community is where it's at due to the leadership or the lack thereof of men in the community. And I'm taking that's all the way, that's biblical, baby. Don't argue with me. Go and read the scriptures about it.
Say to young men who are irritated at women is, if you're irritated at women, as a class of creature, there's something wrong with you.
Exactly.
They're right. You're wrong. They're right to not pick you. If they're not picking you, it's because they're right. What do you expect from women?
Okay, so, and I'm going to just chime in on this. This man is not just one-sided, because he also, if you go to listen to this full podcast, he said even women that have that mindset that all men are the problem, there's something loose upstairs. And it goes the same with men who they have put themselves, and I'm going to give you examples of this. Men that holler about that child support, honey, they are irritating with that. They pick different types of women. They didn't fine tune and screen these women the same way they say how women don't screen, but women, it's not their job to screen. That's your daddy and the men's job to screen these men that's coming around. And that's, you supposed to be giving away into marriage. The man has not been in position, and that's why it's a lot of these single mothers and stuff, because a lot of back then, because they always like to take it back to when women was housewives and the rest of that stuff, their daddies and fathers were in place to screen these men to make sure that they were not dealing with degenerates and deadbeat type of men. Okay, so that's why that number of single motherhood is on the horizon, because also in the Western world, we're dealing with men who deal with, I think it's called, I heard it is somewhere, infantilism or something like that, where the men here are taught to stay in a child state for way longer than they're supposed to. Because if you go other places, in other countries, the men, their parents kind of push them into that adulthood. You got to have that kick in your behind that you need. Okay? Now, y'all let me know if y'all have studied that. But I think that's what it's called. The infantilism or whatever that is. Where the men, they're taught to stay, you get what I'm saying, in a childlike state. And this is why the Most High say, when I was a child, I thought as a child. When you become a grown man, the level of thinking has to elevate. The mindset has to elevate at a certain point. This is why this man, a lot of times when he's on here, he sounds a little whiny. It's just in my opinion. Why, the men are the resources, and it's like, no. when anytime Yah is talking about strength in the Bible, it's strength, and it's like every man that you see had to go through trials, and they was tried by fire, okay, to push them into manhood, okay, and he ain't allowed, Yah didn't allow them to run from it either. So these men, they do a lot of crying, and you got to get into manhood, okay, and it ain't nothing wrong with you crying when you going through your trials, but you got to eventually get to the other side. You can't stay playing with your Yu-Gi-Oh cards and, you know, just not growing up. Okay, you got to eventually grow up at a certain point. So this is what this man is saying. Like, you're looking at these women, but these women have a lot more at stake. But these men on these Manosphere channels, they will tell you that the women should just be giving to you while you're at your mediocre state. And that's how a lot of these women become the come-up women, because they mess with these men in the mediocre state instead of forcing them into adulthood by leaving them alone and letting them go through their process, honey. You got to do that.
Pregnant because you had sex, you'd be pretty damn choosy too. So,
exactly.
You know, pull in a bit. And then, well, don't they find you attractive? Well, maybe you're not.
Ooh, let me stop it right here. Maybe you're not. Are you hitting? They tell these women they need to be a size this, right? Don't Kevin Samuels say that? You need to be a size this. What's your dress size? What's your waist size? What's your pants size? Are you overweight? Okay? Are you working out? Are you your best self? Okay? Are you your best self? Are you healthy? What kind of meals are you eating? Are you eating healthy meals? Okay? Because it's like, even though you may want a woman is going to, when you, because they say he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Most High Yah. When Yah is looking to bless you with this woman, what are you already bringing to the table? You heard Ye say, I ain't bring nothing to the table when I'm the table. You need to be bringing something to the table yourself. Are you bringing mediocrity? Are you attractive? Are you dressing nicely? Are you cleanly? Are you looking a certain way? Because a lot of these men, they want these supermodel looking women. I wouldn't even say supermodel, just like the average IG bat, like I was gonna say bats, IG baddies, and they're not even presenting themselves like in a way. Like, are you polished? Like, because even if you have a certain type of job, you could still be polished. You could still be looking a certain way so that a woman will be like, oh, I'm trying to get with you. Let me see what you're working with. No, they want to be media. They take me as I am, baby. No, we not.
Have you paid attention to how you dress? Do you have a plan? Are you as educated as you could be?
I'm gonna get that going right there. They complain about women being educated with degrees, but will not go partake in the same things that's afforded to them. Because I'm sure you could get online and find a whole, and I'm talking about melanated men. You could go online and find scholarships just for about everything, okay? I done learned the hustle in the game from people that are not our same people. You get you into violin, get you into this so that you could go to get an education. And when I say an education, you don't even really got to go to college. You could go get a trade and go get something shaken for yourself. Do you know how to work with your hands so that money come to answer all things, okay? So that money come. You can't be broke and not. What is your life plan? I ask young men this all the time. You're talking about you want to get with a woman, but what is your life plan? Because a man is going to be a good man if he already has focus on his own goals. Because a woman is a helpmate. Your wife is supposed to be a helpmate. So you should already have a vision and a plan prior to your wife getting there. So if you talking to a man and you seeing the red flags, ladies, that this dude, he can't tell you what he's doing. And when I'm talking about tell you what he's doing, I'm talking about everybody could talk that future stuff on what they want to do in the future. What is he doing in the now to work up to that big plan in the future? And I'm talking about tangible stuff that you can see. So this man is speaking facts. This is why we need the fathers back in the home. So that, because men, a lot of the times, they know how to peep that game, because, you know, women are a bit emotional. They don't want to think on the logical plane and perspective. And I'm not saying all women, because a lot of women know how to peep game too. But these are the questions that any responsible father would be asking a young man that's presenting himself to date their daughter.
You know, what is your liar?
Are you a liar? Come on now. Even the Most High, look at your heart. Like, you know, are you constantly telling lies? If a person lies to me, they got money problems and all kind of stuff going on. They a con. So if you have honesty issues, you automatically gonna be a bad man to be with. Okay, so he's going over all this stuff. Are you actually attractive? Are you putting effort into how you're appearing to women? Because all of this stuff plays into how women perceive you and how, if they want to, you know, be attracted to you. Because a lot of these men, like I said, they try to get women and they're not doing any of this stuff. They just think that women is just supposed to be like with it off the top. Accept me for my mediocrity. That's what they be saying.
Pornography user, if you're rejected constantly and you're out there really trying, you know, because that's another thing to ask yourself as well. How many women have you actually
when he said, are you a pornography user? We know that scientifically that alters the brain, because if you're attracted to artificial, then you'll be into a lot of strange stuff, because it's just like you get the hit of that something. And you just have to keep elevating what you getting into. You get what I'm saying? So that real woman and that real relationship is not going to appease you, because you engulfed in a world of fantasy and stuff that's not real. We know a lot of people have mentioned the dangers of AI, right? It's the same with that. That's an altered reality. So you thinking that a relationship is supposed to be like that. Y'all said that particular act, you supposed to, number one, have a license for that. You get your license, because it's, I'm going to tell you, like I told you, I'm not Christian. So I don't get into the fool-la-la that they get to talking to. The whole, you know, abstain before the marriage. That act is what consummates the marriage. So that act is two becoming one, okay? So you get your license by going to the Most High Yah and seeing if Yah ordained that marriage, because he do ordain marriages. A lot of these marriages that you see that fail is because it's not ordained by the Most High, or the person has some soul tie issues, or the person could have been weak and tempted by, you know, the enemy. There's a lot of things that go into that. You feel what I'm saying? But typically marriages, I'm going to say all the time, marriages that's ordained by the Most High Yah, they don't fail. So a lot of people don't see that is because they get into stuff and God did not approve of that from the go. It's like it's like your father, like, I ain't blessing that. I ain't even coming to that union. You listen, holler at me in a little while. I ain't even gonna say nothing. But I'm not giving my sign off on that. That's how real fathers are, right? So men, you gotta pay attention, ladies, because a lot of these men in that manosphere, a lot of the women that they covet are those type of women that look like they're into the pornography type of thing. So their mind is already altered. This is a man clearly here saying that. Are you watching too much of that to where when you're in reality, you can't even really function with a real woman because you're thinking that women are supposed to be like this? And that's totally some weirdo's mind, because the very act alone, if you're doing it properly and it's in its proper sanction, you're worshiping the Most High Yah when that's taking place. Now, outside of that, you're worshiping who you're worshiping, and that's what that is. But like I said, I'm not Christian. I don't look at that subject as taboo, because you're supposed to be, in fact, doing that with your husband or your wife, and that glorifies the Most High Yah when done properly. Okay, it's a form of worship. But outside of that, old boy you done mortgaged off your destiny. You don't even realize that with all of this stuff. And this is why the punishment of child support and all of this other stuff happens when you're outside of the will of the Father. So clearly this is a man, he's telling you, is this causing issues? But a lot of people in the manosphere, they don't talk about this. This is why there's a bunch of bitter men that congregate together. And I already told you, I side-eye that, because that is also like a form of, leading you to you go in your own direction where you're no longer attracted to the woman, and you're listening to a man telling you, if the man ain't talking like this, you need to be running in the opposite direction. Because clearly this is a man that wants you to achieve accountability and hold yourself accountable so that you can, in fact, get the type of woman that you want. It's possible. You have to do the work to get what you want. You get what I'm saying? You can't be mediocre and then whining, that you're not getting results that you want.
Out. And are you so sure that you're not picking women who will certainly reject you because you're trying to back out of your league? Because you might be.
Oh! He said, are you trying to get women that are out of your league? If you know you make a certain amount of money, and you're looking at women that are certified gold diggers, okay, and typically those IG model chicks, they want money. They need some money. Nissan, they need some money. So they're going to need money, right? And the amount that you making is the amount they paying for their body parts to be altered. You not making enough money to achieve those type of women. Floyd Mayweather told, he told Nelly, Miss Jackson is accustomed to a certain lifestyle. You're going to need to get your bands. Do y'all remember that when Floyd said his women be accustomed to a certain lifestyle? He dropping bags off. He making it rain. He making it flood. He making it tsunami, okay? So if you're dealing with women that are into that, they're into vanity. They like to have their nice, trips, and they want to they're into that, and that they're only going to be into you if you could bring that to the table. So if you can't be mad at all women and say you're not getting women and you're batting, like he said, out of your league. If you ain't in that tax bracket and making that sort of money, you may not be able to afford that type of woman. Real talk. Or maybe it's a certain class of woman that you want, and that type of woman is not normally going to be, because it don't even have to be the IG type of model type of chicks. It could just be women that are super classy. They are very elegant, and they're like, sir, all that you got going on, no, not my type. You have to do the work and portray a certain, first of all, you have to have self-esteem, do the work, and you can get what you want out of life if you do the work.
But if you were better, you'd be more successful with women. So you have to have that in your mind. And you cannot be angry at women. It's stupid.
So you feel as though Dr. Peterson is that whole part?
So what he's clearly saying is, you should not be angry at women. And like I said, if y'all go and watch the podcast, he ain't only get on men. He got on women too. Like, you can't be angry at a whole group of people based off of experiences that you've had, because you have to, and this is what happens when you go to therapy. A licensed therapist will help you see what it is that you need to work on. So the questions he said in the podcast, he said men shouldn't be asking, why do women not want men? You need to be asking as a man, why do women not want you? What are you doing? Are you making the type of money to attract this sort of woman? Is your personality a good personality? Are you physically appealing? What is it that you could be working on Or what is it about you that is turning women off? The Manosphere doesn't talk about any of that. Okay, it's just a woman's fault. They've dealt with like the run-ins from, you know, a certain type of woman. And they always mention like the ghetto type of women, or women that's just, or they talk about the gold diggers, but they don't really have a problem with the gold diggers. The problem with the gold diggers is that they don't really want them because they don't make enough money, or these certain type of preferential type of women, these preferences that they clearly know from the start don't really want them, and they still pursue it anyway. And then when they don't have the money, or it goes south, and they realize, hey, these type of women don't really want them, then it becomes a problem. So I think, like I said, this is the problem with the Manosphere. And like I said, I'm not siding even with the woman's, the whatever spirit that the women have going on, because what I feel is that it has to be a balance. It's like he's saying, and this man is a doctor, he's saying it. You have to think about things on an individual scale, right? Kevin Samuels and these type of men in the Manosphere, they're not telling you to think on an individual basis, okay? Because it's not. And then he also mentioned in this podcast that he needs about 10 sessions with a person to see what's going on with them, see what's going on in their mind, see what's going on in their thought process, to really get a full scope of what's going on with them and to help them solve their issue. People like Kevin Samuels, they try to size up in like one phone conversation what is going on with the person, and you can't do that. You know what I mean? What is it about you? You get what I'm saying? You need to be thinking about these things. Even as a woman, why is it that you're attracting the same type of man? Are you doing the self-work to not attract that sort of man? It's all about accountability on both sides of the fence. And I feel like this divisiveness of, you know, you have women that is on that I don't need a man femininity type side, and then you have the men that is like, they are bitter at women and they've made poor choices, or they just use lust to be attracted to certain women, and it was a trap. Anything could have happened with them, but they're trying to feed the story that that's the narrative for all women, and that's not the case. So it's KBC, y'all. I will see y'all soon in the next video. That was my thoughts on that. Let me know if you've seen that particular podcast, and I will see y'all soon on the next video.